Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, find out what Teslas and tunnels are all about, and animal advocates work to keep bunnies safe at Floyd Lamb Park. Talk about all this and much more as the councilwoman who represents Ward 6. You know who it is, Michele Fiore. Welcome back. How are you?
I am good. You know, it's so funny because you think you're going to slow down. There's no slowing down in Ward 6.
No, for you at all.
No.
There's so much
no
going on, so
down.
much growth out there, so much happening.
Yep.
We have a full show today of
We
things
do.
that have happened
Yes.
and are happening, and we want to tell everybody about. But good to have you here. You know Ward 6 very well. It's your stomping ground. For those of you out there not sure exactly where we're talking about, well, don't worry. We're going to show you right here on the map. Right at the top of the valley, that area with the 6, appropriately enough, is Ward 6. If you live in that area or work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas. And of course, if you are a resident out there, you're represented on the city council by Councilwoman Michele Fiore. And we're in September now. All of a sudden, it's hard to believe. Where's 2021 going?
And let me tell you, 2021 is going, and that map that you just showed everyone will be getting adjusted because of the census.
True.
Yep. So we're gonna Ward 6, not so much. Not so much
So
in
that's
Ward
where
6.
the population's kind of headed, right?
Yep. But we are getting adjusted.
Great point. Every 10 years, we have to readjust to make sure that the council wards have roughly the same number of people. And that means we'd redraw the lines, we redistrict, and it's time to do that again. So those lines are going to shift, and we're working on that now.
Yes, we are. So that's exciting. I mean, the growth is exciting, and my ward is the ward that really drives that.
So what tends to happen is the wards, their boundaries tend to move west and north because the population is more in Ward 6. And so
we have the land.
Exactly.
We have the land to build.
Exactly. And so the idea is to try to keep, Councilwoman, it's about 120,000 people per ward, approximately. And we try to keep all the wards so that everyone has equal representation, basically, on the city council, because one council member represents about the same number of constituents.
Absolutely. And the growth that we're experiencing in the city of Las Vegas, I mean, just the population is growing. And we hear that a lot every council meeting. So, we hear, we don't want, this new housing units to be next to us, and we want to keep it dirt. But they don't realize that our population has grown. You look at the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I mean, we went from 60,000 to now over 3 million in the state of Nevada. And these folks are going to go somewhere.
Right, exactly. And the city of Las Vegas, we're the biggest, obviously the biggest city in the state, and our population over 650,000 in the city limits now. So it is what it is. So, Councilwoman, we're in September, and we should talk about the fact, too, that it's the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attack. That, again, is a hard one to get your head around.
It's a hard one. Number one, New York City is my stomping grounds. I've been in Nevada for 30 years here in Nevada, but my first 20 was Brooklyn, New York. And my 11-year-old grandson, for his birthday, because every year we do something, he wanted to go to New York City. So we spent a week out there, and he wanted to go to the 9/11 memorial. We went to the observation deck. And, as we were talking about not slowing down in Ward 6, even when I'm on vacation with my grandchildren for their birthday, we are still literally in committee meetings, in recommending meetings.
I know you were on the phone. You were all, or Zoom or WebEx or whatever,
Jake, my grandson, and I were on the top of the observation deck, and I was in a committee meeting. But what a great place to do a committee meeting and look down. And so Jake saw for the first time the actual memorial of where the building stood. And we were looking at the books and looking at the hole in the ground that they made a pool and touching all the names. And then we watched One World Trade Center that night. So he really got a grasp of what happened. And he, didn't realize, we have a lot of family there. And so it was an eye-opener for him. And this was his choice. For his 11th birthday, all my grandchildren get to choose where they want to go. And he said he wanted to go to New York, and he wanted to visit the 9/11 memorial. It is our 20th year anniversary. He wanted to do the Statue of Liberty and a helicopter ride and hang out with his cousins. And so it was very emotional visit this time. So, and with the 20-year anniversary, I have to give kudos to the 1013 Club. Charlie Gene, all of our 1013 members, which are retired New York City police officers out here that live here in Vegas, they're putting on such a big show, such a big memorial at actually Mayor Pro Tem Stavros Anthony's Police Memorial Park on September 11th at 11. So join us. And what about the tree? We're planting the tree.
Part of the ceremony is we're going to plant one of the saplings of the survivor tree. And if you don't know the story of the survivor tree, this tree was basically in New York City.
Yes.
The 9/11 attack was buried. As they were cleaning up, found that the tree not only was still alive, but it began to thrive. And so after all these years, saplings from that tree have been sent to cities that also suffered traumatic events. And of course, we had the October 1 shooting. So the foundation that is behind the survivor tree sent us 2 saplings. And one is at Fire Station 5, and the other is going to be planted at Police Memorial Park. Depending on when you watch this show, it starts airing on the 9th of September and will air for a week. So some of you will see this before and some of you will see it after. But the event is September 11th, Police Memorial Park, 11 o'clock. You'll be there, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Goodman. And I believe Councilwoman Seaman is planning on being in there, and Sheriff Lombardo, and of course Charlie from the 1013
He's
Club.
such a great guy. Great guy.
And public, of course, is invited to this. 11 o'clock, Police Memorial Park, 11 to 1, and part of the ceremony will be the planting of that tree. So, 20 years it's gone by.
I just can't believe it's 20 years. I mean, I'm 51, so I was 31, and it was such an emotional day. I mean, I remember exactly where I was, and we couldn't get to New York City to help, and and one of the things I have to say about One World Trade Center, the film on Netflix, if you can watch that film, because it was put out by the New York City Port Authority. 2 Port Authority police officers were saved by a former Marine. The Marine, finished his call of duty. He was living in another state. He saw what happened. He went to the barbershop, shaved his head, put his uniform on, and went and just took ownership of being a Marine. He would walk past everyone, the former cop, because the first day it happened, it was getting dark. We didn't have a plan. We weren't ready for this. We did not have a plan for the Twin Towers to fall. And this Marine went without permission, trying to find people all night in the buried rubble. And he's the one who found the 2 Port Authority officers that were crunched and almost dying.
Oh my gosh.
And it was because he just was determined not to stop, even though it was dark. He had his flashlight, he had his knife, he had his Marine uniform on. So, it's an amazing film, One World Trade Center, and I really wish everyone would see it.
Well, that'll be a special ceremony out here in Las Vegas as well. So again, public invited, and I know some of you will see this after the event, but again, it's because the show airs over the course of a week. Councilwoman, a lot of technology coming to Las Vegas, a lot of tech companies, and including the Boring Company. That doesn't mean they're boring. It means that they're boring through the earth. You posted on Facebook, the Boring Company gave us a fantastic tour of the Vegas Loop today. And this is over near the convention center. The little Teslas roam through these tunnels that shoot convention airs quickly back and forth among the areas there.
Yeah, right now they have 62 Tesla cars that fit about 3 passengers. The tunnels, depending upon what day it is, can be different colors or rainbows. It's pretty neat. Now, again, being born and raised in New York City and always being on the subways, this is not a subway experience, but it's something that the Las Vegas Visitors Convention Authority had really wanted to participate in. So it's kind of a test trial, and we're seeing where they go and what they can do for our city.
They're interested in building a network that would go under the valley, connecting the airport with downtown, et cetera, and still in the works. We'll have to see if that all comes together, but this is the technology anyway. They were showing off the fact that it does work. Whether it'll be feasible to actually come to life here in Las Vegas still remains to be seen. So, all right, and then Councilwoman, going back to the surface, new traffic signal at Grand Canyon in Grand Teton. Folks, we know this isn't the biggest news of the day, but if you're someone who drives in that area, keep your eyes peeled because you're maybe not expecting a traffic signal all of a sudden to be at this location.
So our constituents, and remember, it's the growing.
It's growing a lot
ward.
out there, exactly.
So when there's growth, there's also houses and traffic and studies. And these studies are literally called for by our constituents. Chance Bonaventura will get emails daily.
It's your chief of staff?
My chief of staff will get emails daily saying, we need a stop sign, and we need this, we need this, we need, and let me tell you, there's not one email that's ever allowed to come into my office without an answer. And as soon as we look at that, we'll go, Chance, myself, Jeff, will go out and we'll look and we'll go, you know what, they're right. Then we'll go and we'll call Mike Jansen, and we have this whole protocol, right?
Yep.
And let me tell you, our city and our city staff, they are on it. They begin the traffic study. They are very responsive. And so this traffic light really is because a constituent wrote in.
Yeah, and again, like we say, folks, we know it's a new traffic light. We got it. But if you're someone who drives in the area of Grand Canyon and Grand Teton, no, there's going to be a traffic signal there. You may not be expecting it.
It's
so look out. Be safe. Please be safe. And speaking of being safe, we're into September, but it's still hot.
It's
Folks,
still
please
hot.
Watch the kids and the dogs in the car.
And the animals. So, you know, it's really sad. And again, I just think to myself, if I have an animal and the animal's in the car, that car better be running with the air conditioning on. You know, there's so many times that I've seen animals in a locked car and it's hot. And I'm not the girl that's going to walk by that car. I'm the girl that's going to call Metro, make sure the dog is like alive. I'll break the window myself if I have to. I haven't never had to do that because we've always caught him in time. But it's not okay. I mean, it's really not okay. And so please take care of your animals, take care of your children. Do not leave them in hot cars.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's a man, not a gentleman. There was a man that did that about a month ago, and he's in jail. An infant child. He left him in the hot car, went into a casino and started gambling. And I don't know the condition of the child, but I know it suffered. It's alive, but I don't know.
It happens every summer here in Las Vegas. Of course, it happens in other cities as well, but it's so intensely hot here. And any living thing in the car, a child or a dog, cat, animal, whatever, it's just the inside of that car in no time is just going to be unsurvivable.
Yeah, it's not good.
So yeah, please everyone, we're still got a lot of hot days ahead of us.
October 31st.
Yeah,
October 31st. All of a sudden, we can wear a jacket, like a light jacket.
Yeah, we finally get to Halloween.
Until then, I mean, even October 30th, sometimes it's hot.
It is.
It's hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Councilwoman, this is, I think, very special. You had recognized Mr. Lee, Hyun Lee from Lee's Discount Liquor, an icon here in town. His business celebrated their 40th anniversary.
Yes.
You presented them a proc, and then sadly he passed away just a few weeks after that.
He did. I'm so sad. Actually, just last week. And so Mr. Lee, August 13th is significant because it was his 40th year anniversary of Mr. Lee's. So we did a proclamation. And we got it to him. He wasn't picture ready that day because he was going through a couple of things, but
he was battling an illness.
Yeah,
everyone.
he
I
was
think
battling an
familiar
illness.
with that. So.
But I have to tell you, the glow in his eyes when he realized that we love him. So many people love him, and he knows it. I mean, he's so charitable. But it was just,
he was a great philanthropist,
fabulous. He was so grateful and so humble.
Yeah.
So humble.
You talk about the American dream. Came here as an immigrant with not much it means at all. And he parlayed that into, and this is such a great Las Vegas story too, because it's not just a great American story, but it's a great Las Vegas story. He founded a thriving business here in Las Vegas. And
it's amazing.
Yeah, so
what he did. And you know, we talk about that, Lee's Liquor. You know, people don't realize liquor, alcohol, and tobacco. Back in they did a statistical study in the Depression, whether people were buying food or alcohol and tobacco. And people were buying alcohol and tobacco before they'd buy food.
Yeah. The only way you can get through the depression, I guess, is that was the viewpoint, I guess. So, Mr. Lee, again, you mentioned this, Councilwoman, just a great philanthropist, helped so many causes here in Las Vegas. So he'll be missed, and wish his family the very best at this difficult time for them. So, yeah. Good for you for recognizing him while he can still see the proclamation. That's awesome. And then, speaking of recognizing people, you had the Citizen of the Month, September 1st. You recognized her Citizen of the Month. She's big in the arts, but also a philanthropist of sorts.
Her name is Sherilyn Brennan, and she owns Dance Connections. She comes from San Francisco, but a long time ago. Like, she's been here 20-something years. Dance Connections, 20 years. Ward 6. And she was a professional dancer. Her daughter now is a professional dancer with the Michael Jackson 1 show. But let me tell you what's so special about her. 3 years ago, I have autistic grandchildren, and they are 8 now. And when they were 5, they were in another dance studio in my ward. And the bottom line is they got kicked out of the dance school because they couldn't follow instructions. And so that was quite appalling to me, actually. But, you know, I didn't say
they were
anything.
5 at the time.
They were
right?
5 at the time, and as I'm starting to meet people in the neighborhood, someone said, you know, check out Dance Connections because they might have a special needs dance program. So she said, no, we don't have a special needs dance program, but we just have them as normal kids. Like, they're just come and they do what they do in our class. And literally, like, so inviting, so welcoming. They never got kicked out of the school. And they thrive, and they thrive. And so just not my grandchildren, but so many other kids I saw there through the pandemic, and the things she did for so many families to get the kids out of that house is just so charitable.
Well, and when she spoke at the city council meeting, she's clearly a mentor to the kids, not just on the dance floor, but in life as well.
Oh, so. Absolutely, absolutely. And it was her husband's birthday that day too. So September 1st is Sherilyn Brennan Day.
Yep.
And happy birthday, Brett Brennan, because they are such a dino team, those two. They're dynamic.
Well, and it was nice that you honored them. It didn't make it funny. Story is that was the day of the big tanker crash on 95 when the highway was shut down. So they barely made the council meeting, as all of us barely got in that day. But they got here and they were recognized, as you saw in the video. So I love this too. We're back to school, right? We're into September. So you posted on Facebook. You said, we had a blast at our Splash Back to School event on Friday. All of the children were grateful for the backpacks and supplies that we provided them. And you know, it always eases the pinch of time to go back to school by having a little party beforehand, right?
Yeah, and it's great because we had food there, we had hot dogs, we had snow cones, we had soda, we had giveaways, we had raffles, we raffled bikes away. And just like, children are so pure. David, children are so pure. And the happiness and the joy that you bring to them, and then you let them pick out what backpack they want. And you know, I don't know. If I could have 100 kids, I would. I would. I just love them. I have 7 grandkids. It's not enough.
Well, they obviously got a nice send-off. That was back on August 9th, right before the school year started. And that was a nice party. Again, it's to help them kind of ease back and get them enthused and excited about going back to school as opposed to dreading it. And then I love this too. You took part in a summer camp time capsule project.
We did.
Now, the one in your ward, you were out of town
New York City,
with your grandson.
Yeah.
So Councilwoman Diaz graciously said, "Well, come on over to Ward 3. We'll do one over at East Las Vegas." Yeah,
she's so kind, and it was great because what we did was we put little, just little trinkets in there in this little capsule, and in 20 years we are going to unbury it.
Yeah.
So and I can't wait. I can't wait to do that.
That's very cool. That was the East Las Vegas Community Center on August 5th, and so on August 5th, 2041.
Yeah.
Wow. Ooh. Where will I be then? I don't know.
I'll
Scary.
be 71. I know that. I'll be 71. And I'm going to take a picture of that capsule and see if I can save the clothes that I wore.
Yeah.
So then when I'm 71, I'll see if those clothes fit and wear them again.
Yeah, there you go. See, this was what was in style. I'm not only,
right.
I'm
20 years
you,
ago,
exactly,
this
you're
is
getting a history
what I
lesson.
wore. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's very cool. And then we had National Intern Day. That was back on July 29th. There's your indoor,
And she is like an Olympic swimmer.
Wow.
This girl is amazing. She was an amazing intern. You know, it's so funny because I said, "What are you doing today?" And she said, "Anything that Chance doesn't feel like doing, he makes me do."
Well, there you go. She's also very honest.
Yes, very honest. And she goes to Shadow Ridge, and she's going to have a big life.
Yeah.
She's got so much potential.
Going into her senior year, Councilman, this is her senior year, so good luck. It's great having her here over the summer. And yeah, you guys kept her busy. I know Chance kept her busy anyway, for sure.
Yes, he sure did, yep.
All right. And then, love this. You posted this on Facebook. I'm sorry, the city posted this on Facebook. You said, "Congratulations to the Bunnies Matter Rescue Group for being recognized by Councilwoman Michele Fiore and Las Vegas City Council during our council meeting." And this group, Councilwoman, I know they're near and dear to you because people were taking bunnies and just dumping them at Floyd Lamb Park.
And they still do, and it makes me sad. The campaigns that we run and the education that we try to, give to people. Folks go and buy these little $5, $10, $15 bunnies, domestic
for Easter,
bunnies for Easter.
Generally.
They have them for a month. They don't want to clean the cage. They're running out of food. So they think by putting the bunny in a park, the bunny's going to eat grass and drink water from the lake. That's not how it goes. You put bunnies like that at a park, and the foxes and the coyotes and the hawks, that's all their dinner.
Exactly.
The bunnies are the dinner. And but then the sad thing is they reproduce quickly and a lot.
Been known to do that,
so
right?
The Bunnies Matters organization literally traps bunnies, David, gets them, neuters them, and then adopts them out. And this is all, this is all on donations. Like, we have to help the Bunnies Matters people because they do. There's their little trophy I gave them, and I gave them some carrots. We have to capture them, without hurting them. Then we have to neuter them, and then kind of get them hand trained, feed them, and then adopt them out.
Yeah.
So it's a huge undertaking that this group does as a volunteer.
Well, they've been a great partner for us and really helped fill a big need out there, as fantastic as that might sound. And then, Councilwoman, I love this too. You posted this on Facebook. You said, "Pack some sunscreen and water. We're going outside." The Centennial YMCA offers free guided hikes for the family on the 4th Saturday of each month. I had no idea this was going on.
Oh, they've been doing this for years. Let me tell you, our military, like Creech Air Force Base, all of our military bases around the country, when you go and you look at a military bases map, they always have a red dot for the YMCA because the YMCA partners with all of our military. And these hikes, they'll tell you like where they're going that day, for how long. And Breezy Bolden, who runs the YMCA, and her staff, they choose these great places to go and hike all over our city and state. And so if you want to be
day
part
hike,
of it,
Councilman, you go out for the day hike.
And it's funny because you always bring a backpack with food and water, but I don't know how they do it. But they always have their folks with extra water, extra food, extra, and they're always
kind of nurture the people along who maybe aren't experienced hikers, but want to get out and experience it. So, well, that's great, and thanks for the info because I've been here a long time, did not know that was something. So, free hikes, you guys, offered on the 4th Saturday of each month out at the Y there at Centennial Hills. Pretty cool. And then, speaking of the area, you got some great parks that the city operates out there. I mean, Floyd Lamb, we talked about Centennial Hills, Allen Beck, et cetera, and this is Floyd Lamb Park right here.
Yeah, I love it. And I have to tell you, so Jeff Waffle and Chance Bonaventura did an unannounced, unexpected audit of our parks in Ward 6.
Secret shopper kind of thing.
Secret shopper kind of thing. And I have to give kudos. I really have to tell you. Our director, Greg Weitzel, before he came on, we were having a little bit of an issue keeping our parks clean.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff and Chance went out there, remember, secretly. We didn't want anyone to know what we were doing to see how the parks were. He has done a phenomenal job. The parks in Ward 6 are in the best shape they've ever been in. I've been here 4 years. So I want to, again, extend a gratitude, grateful thank you to Greg Weitzel and his team.
Yeah, and I want to say, too, our own Steve Horlock, who is directing this particular program, shot those drone video, shot the drone video there. So Steve, great job. You get a real perspective of how cool our parks are when you see it from the air like that.
They're really great.
Good stuff. And then, Councilwoman, we celebrated Senior Citizens Day on August 21st.
Yes.
This was pretty interesting. Here they are coming in to do all kind of activities.
Yeah, I got to tell you, our senior citizens, you watch them. You participate with them in like some of the workout programs that they have, and in their pool programs, and in their dance programs, and in their yoga programs. They will run circles around the youngins. And, you know, I'm just so proud of these active seniors. I'm telling you, they have better balance than me. And yeah, they have better balance than me. I mean, some of them shake their tukish a lot more sexier than I could ever. Yeah. And the things that they can teach are young.
Well, and look at all the activities. We've seen a little bit of everything. We saw dance. I think they were having an ice cream social there. They also
we do all that
stuff. doing yoga and then sewing and everything else. So
and they swim.
Yeah,
I mean, it's amazing.
We talked about this during the pandemic when everything was shut down. Really hard on those folks because they were just
horrible.
Yeah, they couldn't get out and do any of that stuff.
No.
None of us could.
No.
But those folks were really isolated.
Yeah, I mean, we did a lot of drive-throughs, but it's not the same.
No,
it's not the same of hugging and touching and serving the ice cream, and it's not the same. And you know, but we were there for each other.
Yeah. And then, Councilwoman, movie in the park. We love doing movies in the park in September. Nice, because it's not quite as hot as trying to do it in July. But, you know, the sun goes down, things cool off. And you had movie in the park back September 3rd, that Friday night.
Raya, and we saw Raya. And again, I tell adults to watch it because it's a movie about trust. And I
haven't seen it. I've not seen it.
If adults could just take some lessons from children, and I want you to think back, David, from when we were children. When we were children, we wanted to save the world. We wanted to build houses for everyone so they would have a house, and we wanted to give everyone our candy and our food. And, you know, these are my childhood memories of, you know, I never wanted anyone to suffer. I wanted everyone to feel love. And that can't change. That can't change. And so when you watch Raya and you watch some of these, and, you know, having 7 grandchildren, I think my favorite movies are the Disney movies because these films are teaching children compassion. Raya is such a life lesson. And this is what people are not understanding about these films, is the message through the film. I highly suggest, it's not a kid movie. I think it's, you know, I want to tell adults to just watch the movie.
Well, that's Disney's beauty, right?
Yes.
They build things as for children, but there's always the adults can get into it too. That's been their secret all these years, right? So, well, that's great. And so, yeah, another successful time to get everybody out there. And the best part, it's always free. So,
it is. We serve popcorn and water, and
it's fun. Councilwoman, we're about out of time. The show always goes by fast, and so we want to tell
you. We've got so much to talk about.
I know, it was a lot. You are busy. We always want to tell you, hey, we want to hear from you. If there's something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Fiore, you can always find her on Facebook and Twitter. You can also contact her just by picking up the phone, 702-229-6405, or send her an email. Her address is mfiore@lasvegasnevada.gov, and she or one of her great staff get right back to you. So, always a pleasure. Great job on this show. We'll have you back in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 6.
Thank you so much. It's always fun being with you, David.
Thank you so much. And it's going to be even busier than this time around, I have a hunch. So.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we want to thank you for joining us. Our next Access City Council show begins airing on September 16th with Ward 1 City Councilman Brian Knutson. You can catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire now. And, of course, at the end of the show, watch for our QR code following this program to subscribe to our newsletter. Also, don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time around.